Lawn bowling is more than just a game. There's no talking on the green.
Genuine 1972 prices.
There's nothing this soft. Just stick it right up them, right up them.
Welcome to Without Bias. Brought to you by Apia, proudly supporting Bowls Australia. Apia, dedicated specialists ready to help. Call 13 50 50. Apia, get set, go. Local legends wanted. A bowls green is just up the road. Search bowls clubs near me.
Welcome to another episode of Without Bias. Wonderful to have your company as we delve into the wonderful world of lawn bowls. Sam Hargreaves here, special guest today, and we're going very, very elite here. Aaron Teys is going to join me in just a moment, and Genevieve Delves not too far after that. Just before we get into that, Without Bias for Bowls Australia, local legends wanted, search bowls clubs near me. Really important announcement from Bowls Australia, and an exciting announcement as well, but it will have an impact on some. Bowls Australia can confirm that this year's Australian Open will commence on the scheduled date of June 12th, 2021. However, due to the extended COVID-19 lockdown in Victoria, players from the state will only be able to participate in the competition if they reside in another state or territory. If you are among this group, contact Bowls Australia to indicate your intention to participate in disciplines other than men's and women's singles and pairs by 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, Monday, June 7th. No ranking points will be awarded for the tournament due to the absence of affected Victorian participants, and all impacted players will have their entry fees refunded in full. So good news that the tournament is going ahead. Unfortunately, it won't be happening with Vic residents, which is very sad, but as COVID continues to have a pretty dramatic impact on all sports, and bowls, unfortunately, is not exempt from that. We will get to our first interview right now, though. Off the top of the show, great to have this man on Without Bias, proudly brought to you by Apia, proudly supporting Bowls Australia. He's been in a very rich vein of form at the moment. Australian Jackaroo Aaron Teys has been good enough to jump on. Hello, mate.
G'day, mate. How you going?
Yeah, really good. Thanks, Aaron. You are one of the most informed bowlers in the country right now. Your year so far, 2 BPL wins with the Tweed Head Ospreys, the BPL 13 MVP, an Australian Championships 4s gold medal and a bronze. How does that sound after just a few months back after a long layoff?
Yeah, no, it's quite nice. The Tweed Head Ospreys have been a great club to play for, obviously playing with Corey Wedlock and Chloe Stewart and coached by Wayne Turley. They've been brilliant. The support base has been awesome from the club too. To get the MVP, very chuffed to get that. But as I said, obviously wouldn't be able to do it without Corey Wedlock and Chloe Stewart. So you could pretty much split that medal into 3 because they were outstanding the whole way through the event as well. Gold in the 4s, yes, very chuffed with that. The boys played awesome. Bronze in the pairs, Obviously, everyone's there to try and win gold, but still super stoked to finish on the podium with the bronze with my good mate Henry.
Super stoked. You're sounding more like a surfer than a lawn bowler there, Aaron. Now, I know you mentioned that it's all about the team and not about yourself, but let's just touch on your individual record at the moment, Aaron. You are now the equal most successful player in Bowls Premier League history. You've got 4 titles. You're tied with Aaron Sheriff. What does that mean to you? To have so much success in the midst of such, I suppose, a rich and very, very in-form Australian lineup and a lot of stars in those BPL teams.
Yeah, no, super chuffed. As you said, it's a really hard tournament. You got the best of the best there. So, look, to be equal with Aaron Sheriff's a massive feather in my cap, to be honest. He's always been a junior idol of mine, and he will go down as probably one of the best ever played the game. Like, I think if normally when people ask who the best is in the world, it's either Aaron Sheriff or Alex Marshall. So, to have my name thrown in the mix with his, and I'm pretty happy with that.
You've just got back into Melbourne. How has that sat with you that you got back to Melbourne last week, just prior to the lockdown? Was there any relief in that, or did you contemplate staying away, or how does that sit with you?
Yeah, no, we were super lucky. I think if we had got in after 4 p.m, we had a 7-day quarantine that we had to go through, but we got home at 1, so we got really, really, really lucky there, and obviously now it allows us to play in the Aussie Open, which is something that I'm looking forward to.
Hey, last week you played pairs with Jeremy Henry, a 2-time world champ from Northern Ireland. Just talk to us about your relationship with him and how he's helped you through your career.
Yeah, the big error, my general. He's been a good mate of mine for years. Ever since I moved here about 10.5 years ago, he really took me under his wing. He played in a lot of things with me, mentored me, he coached me. Like he's been a massive part of my career. He's been brilliant. We do a lot of things outside of bowls together. Like we'll go for a hit at golf, or we'll catch up for a barbecue at his place, and we spend a fair bit of time together. I lived out the backyard of his place for a couple of years in a Gretty flat. So I've been good mates for a lot of years, and he's been a big part of my career.
It's a wonderful story. I love that. And just, I suppose one of the real benefits of playing a global sport is the people you can meet and connect with along the journey.
Oh, for sure. I can't thank Wheeler Bowling Club enough. Like in my 10.5 years of being here, you've had the likes of Jeremy Henry, Alex Marshall, Leif Selby. There's been so many good bowlers that I've been able to get tips and pointers off throughout my whole career here, and they've all been willing to give them to. They've all been really, really good to me. So, I've been very blessed with my opportunities that I've been given.
We are speaking to Aaron Teys on Without Bias. We do it all for Apia and for Bowls Australia. Now, you play a lot with fellow Jackaroo Corey Wedlock and even represent the same club at Warilla. You guys are a similar age. It seems very close watching on. The relationship seems a close one. How does it help having such a good friend to sort of share that journey with that you're on currently?
Oh, mate, absolutely. It's been great. He's been to our club the last couple of years, and the more I get to see him play, the more impressed I am. There's not very often you'll see Corey Wedlock enter an event where he doesn't either win it or finish at the pointy end. So to share that journey with him is good. I'd much rather play with him than against him. And I think if people don't think it now, they definitely will think that he probably will be the greatest ever play the game. That's just in my opinion, but he's just so bowls orientated, and he is absolutely freakish at such a young age. I'd hate to see his resume when he finally retires. It's
a massive endorsement to put that kind of, I suppose, not expectation, but certainly that level of attribution on what he might be able to achieve.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it is. It's a big call, but, as I said, the more I see of him, I've got no doubt he's something else. He's pretty good.
Brilliantly done. So, Teasy, you're often labelled as one of the greatest exponents of sportsmanship in bowls, constantly clapping your opponents. You really get behind all the other bowlers, even if you're competing against them. Why is that so important to you, do you think? And what does that label mean to you as someone who is known as just a great competitor but a great sportsman?
Yeah, look, it's a very nice ring to it, and I'm very happy to have that. But I think it all comes down to when I was a junior, I had a really bad attitude on the green. I used to throw my rag and kick bowls in the ditch and throw the mat and turn the scoreboard over pretty aggressively if things weren't going my way. So it was just always something that I wanted to get out of my game, just bad body language. So I just thought it's not hard to be a good sport and give a high five and clap a bowl if they've done it. And I think when I was younger, I can't remember who I played, but it was someone that I sort of looked up to, and I played a good bowl and he said, good shot and give me a high five. And I thought, wow, it felt nice, and I thought it's just not hard to be nice. And I don't know. I just think if you can give your time of day up to like some juniors and that as well. I remember when I was younger, I was at Tweed Heads one time. I was really, really young, and I got to meet Lindsay Armitage and Karen Murphy. It's Lindsay Clark now, obviously, but I had to meet them too, and I was just way too nervous and scared to go and talk to them. So I had to go and get Mum to ask him if I could get a photo. And I just remember how much that meant to me, them giving up their time just to get a quick picture with me. And I thought, if I ever happen to get to that sort of stage one day and I can make someone's day or, make someone happy just by giving them a high five or a photo or clap their bowl or something like that, I thought I'll take every opportunity I can get to do that.
That's beautifully put, and I think it's a lesson for us all, in not just in sport, but maybe just in life in general. It doesn't cost you anything to be kind. Hey, before we let you go, mate, little birdie tells me that you're expecting a little one soon. How are the excitement levels? How are the nerves?
Yeah, no, they're through the roof. I'm a little bit scared and nervous, but I am very excited. 28th of July is the due date. Look, I'm pumped. I can't wait. obviously, the timing's not great with a few different events, but obviously I want to try and play as much as I can for as long as I can for New South Wales and Australia and all the different other events. So I suppose the timing's never going to be great. But, look, I am super, super pumped.
Aaron, been wonderful to chat to you, mate. We've loved having you on Without Bias. Thanks so much, and good luck with what's to come as well for the year.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Cheers. Have a good one.
Aaron Teys on Without Bias. We do it all for APIA. Proudly supporting Bowls Australia, dedicated specialist, ready to help. Call 13 50 50. APIA, get, set, go. And don't forget, local legends are wanted. Search Bowls Clubs near me. A Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls Clubs near me. So, coming up on the other side of this, on Without Bias, Genevieve Delves, another current Jackaroo, will join us. She had 2 gold medals at the Australian Championships last week. So, we're looking forward to hearing about that experience. Coming up next on Without Bias.
From the wide outdoors to the great indoors, this is Without Bias. Brought to you by Apia, proudly supporting Bowls Australia. Local legends wanted. A Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls Clubs near me.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back to Without Bias. 1300 736 736, of course, the number to get yourself involved at any point. And we do it all for Bowls Australia. Local legends wanted. A Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls Clubs near me. And we couldn't do it without our good friends at Apia, dedicated specialists, ready to help. Call 13 50 50. Apia, get, set, go. Great to chat with Aaron Teys just moments ago. If you missed any of that, sen.com.au, go to the Without Bias podcast page and you can have a read of that. But absolutely rapt to be joined now by another superstar, Jackaroo, who last week claimed 2 gold medals at the Australian Championships. Jen Delves has been good enough to jump on the line. Hello to you, Jen.
Hi, Sam. Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure to have you on. What a great week it was for you last week at the Australian Championships. Could you have asked for a better result?
No, I guess it's hard to go any better than the 2 golds. We were very lucky to get our 2 events in. It was pretty much cancelled, I think, a couple of days afterwards. But yeah, great result. Had some tough matches, and it's always a tough match knowing that you're playing against the best of every state.
After what we experienced last year, it must just mean a little bit more given the layoff that the game had to go through, and certainly for yourself after being named as a Jackaroo for the first time this year. It's sort of all been happening all at once.
Yeah, it has. It's sort of been very much stop-start, very much a hurry up and wait. Obviously last year was very disrupted, and it sometimes feels a little bit weird playing 2020 events at the start of 2021, but it is great to have everyone back out and going, and hopefully, moving forward, it's only going to get better from here.
The announcement to become a Jackaroo earlier in the year, how did you receive that news, and how did you feel when you got the confirmation?
I was absolutely stoked. I think the last few years leading up to 2019, where I probably had my better breakout year, it had been a long road, and the long improvements and trying to get as many results as what I could. For me, that's what it was. It was chasing results to try and get my best foot forward to get into that squad. I knew it was a very hard squad to crack because you've got a lot of great quality players there, and I hadn't really been on the scene that long, so it was a great achievement, and they're a great bunch of girls, and I've only learned how great they are, getting to know them all as I've sort of been in that environment now.
Has it been a bit bizarre that you haven't been able to get to know them in one hit as much as you would have liked, given that you haven't all been able to be together very often?
Yes and no. I guess I'm in that privileged, circumstance where I had a little bit to do with them, leading up to that. So it's been nice to have those friendships develop organically rather than, into a situation where you're part of the team and you're now fitting into the team. It just sort of feels like, like rather than, being the cheering kid on the sideline with the Oranges, I'm now, in with the girls, and, again, of course, the hard work starts now.
You had your first BPL experience in Moama for the Perth Suns earlier in the year. How did you find the experience compared to other events? I've often described it to people who aren't familiar with it as like the Big Bash League, as that is for cricket. So too is the BPL for bowls. It's fast, it's fun, it's loud, it's exciting. There's bright colours and big music. It is really an entertaining and an exciting brand of lawn bowls.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I was very fortunate to be given the opportunity to sub in for Christina for that event down in Moama. And yeah, I really don't mind the format. It is really quite cutthroat. So, you know, I guess having the ability to be able to just focus on what you need to do, knowing that there's lights flashing and music playing and crowds heckling, and rightly so if you spooned a couple here and there. But yeah, it is a really good format. It's really good for the spectator, and I think, you know, going forward, it's a really good event for people who aren't necessarily familiar with the sport to sort of have that fast format where it is quite intense and there's a lot of things going on at once. But yeah, very fortunate to have the opportunity, and yeah, very, very big thank you to Perth Suns for that.
Yeah, beautifully said. You picked up bowls fairly late in life compared to some of your other Jackaroos teammates. Talk us through your journey into and through lawn bowls.
Yeah, my journey into lawn bowls is a little bit different. A lot of players, especially in the Jackaroos, have come through the junior pathways. Me, I've come through the barefoot pathways, the barefoot bowls pathways. And yeah, that sort of started with me with work, not really wanting to get myself in a position where I was physically getting injured because I like to play rugby, AFL and all those rough and tumble sports. And so being quite competitive and an ex-golfer, the barefoot, you know, bowls really did appeal to me. And once I sort of started to get a little bit familiar with the sport, I really wanted to get better at it. And once I sort of put my mind to something and say, hey, I want to be good at this, there's really not much that can stop me. And yeah, that was my pathway through the barefoot bowls.
I love that. So barefoot bowls, I mean, I just think that's fantastic, and what an endorsement for something that has provided one of the great injections into a sport and the participation of it. You would have to be the poster child for barefoot bowls now. Would I be right in saying that, Jen?
Look, I've never been a poster child for anything, but if I'm going to be a poster child for anything, I'd be happy for it to be barefoot bowls. It definitely was my pathway into the sport, and I think it's I guess if it's a way to promote the sport to sort of, you know, those people who do go down for their social roll-ups, to say that if you put your mind to it, anything's possible, then I'm happy to be a poster girl for that.
Were you? Was there other sports that you played growing up that you thought that you think stood you in good stead when it came to lawn bowls?
I used to be a pretty decent golfer as a junior. Any sort of sport I've played it, whether that was because at school I would, you know, try anything to get me out of class, and whether that meant join the Frisbee team, I joined the Frisbee team. But yeah, I did quite a bit of surf boat rowing, touch football, soccer, rugby union, AFL, pretty much anything I've tried it.
We're speaking to Jen Delves on Without Bias, one of the Australian Jackaroos, proudly brought to you by Apia, supporting Bowls Australia, and local legends wanted. Search bowls clubs near me. Bowls Australia, of course. Jen, you outside of bowls rather, you work for Fire and Rescue New South Wales, so we all owe you a tremendous debt of gratitude as it is. Tell us about that role and how you got involved to become a firey.
Well, I guess the start of my career when I was the golfer, I was a greenkeeper at Longreef Golf Course down in Sydney. And from that, I transformed over to being a copper for 9 years in New South Wales. And then I progressed from that to working in remote Indigenous communities up in Queensland. Came back down to Sydney, didn't want to be a copper anymore, applied for the Ambos and the Fireys, got into both, ended up in the Fireys, and I've been there for coming up to 9 years now. It's a great job. I love it. Couldn't think of myself doing anything else. You
would have seen some things, and you would have been in some particularly hairy situations. It's a job that demands a lot, but does so much for so many. It takes I've got a mate of mine who's a firey as well. It takes a particular type of person to be able to do that job and to stand where you need to stand and confront what you need to confront.
Yeah, I think over the course of the last 20 years with, my emergency services work, there's not much that surprises me anymore. I've pretty much all seen it, but maybe just in sometimes different circumstances. But I think with, I guess you could ask your friend the same question. Emergency services I find really rewarding because you can just have that opportunity to make someone's life a little bit better on possibly the worst day of their life. And, I've always been one of those people who do like to help, whether it's, volunteering, doing something, or, I'm lucky enough to be paid to help people. So I like the diversity of the work. I like, the challenging environments that it puts me in. And I think, given my clear commitment issues with sport, it's always that variety that I'm looking for. And the Fire Brigade or Fire Rescue New South Wales is just one of those really supportive workplaces, which has given me so much. And it's nice to be able to give the community back a little bit something too, into just trying to make things a little bit better for them.
That's beautiful. Jen, you've picked up the name The Florist, I'm led to believe, at work. Can you please explain that one for us?
Well, the bowl schedule can be really quite chockers at times, especially now with the Jackaroos, programming put into it, which is awesome. So the boss has recently, affectionately given me the name The Florist because with my work I tend to make my own arrangements. And I know. I thought it was quite clever.
That's
too.
very
He's just
sharp.
like, we've got a florist, do we? I'm just like, what are you talking about? He's like, you just make your own arrangements. But it's all good. So I'm very fortunate to have supportive bosses and a supportive workplace which do encourage me, to on my path with the Jackaroos. And I do tend to make my own arrangements as we'll find out next week heading up to AO. I've done a little bit more work.
Absolutely.
Changing my shift.
Good luck with that as well. That's going to be a fantastic tournament. Sadly, without the Victorians there, but it should be bowls of the highest quality. I've got no doubt. Hey, thanks so much, Jen Delves, for joining us on Without Bias. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for your time.
Jen Delves, Australian Jackaroo, coming off 2 gold medals, will go in to the Australian Open with in really red-hot nick. So looking forward to that. And just a reminder that tournament will still go ahead June 12th, the Australian Open 2021. Due to the COVID situation in Victoria, though, the players that are based in Victoria will not be able to participate. All the details are up on the Bowls Australia website. Before we bid you farewell for another edition of Without Bias, Jackaroo Christina Christic for our Right at Home player update. Right at Home aged care at home. Right at Home, Australia's leading provider of home care and disability support. Jackaroo Christina Christic for taking out the Bowls WA Female Bowler of the Year award at their awards last week. Congratulations to you, Christina. You are very worthy of that Right at Home player update. Right at Home for the best quality and disability support, aged and nursing care at home. That's it for another episode of Without Bias.